Hi everybody, we're going to be starting our job forecastings and job openings session. This is one of our new releases sessions. If you have not had a chance to download the files, they are in the pod just below the chat session. And we will be having Natasha Telger do our presentation today. So if you have any questions during the presentation, please put them in the chat pod. We will grab them and answer them for you. And I'd like to turn the table over to Natasha Telger.
Okay, well, thank you, Dee. We also have Jeannie Kitchens and Chelsea Jones and Lacey Pollock with us, so if they can answer your questions as we go through this information, they'll do that as well. So thank you. Today we are going to talk about the job forecasting and openings section that'll be in the ATIM tools. We're going to take a look at the different components and the resources, and then we'll take a look at our next steps. So with the polling question that I saw, it looks like most people that are participating today that answer the polling question are just getting started with this process. Looks like there was one or two people that are in the process of collecting this job information, and so that's great. But just to know that everybody's kind of that responded is pretty much in the same spot. What I have on the screen right now is a dashboard view. I wanted to start with showing you the bigger picture of all this information that you're going to be entering into the ATIM tools can be used to help you with providing visibility, not just for your region at a region level view, but also at a state level view, to take a look to see what the employer's projected job openings are and how those job openings are, how we're fulfilling those employers' needs. Because this information that we use within the job forecasting section of the ATIM tools will be used as part of the evaluation that is part of the ATIM program. So we definitely want to make sure that we're identifying what those needs are of the employers and making sure that we fulfill them. So one of the things that I put together here is just to try to give it a visual of the importance of the section. First, we want to make sure that we prove the need. So in order to do that, we talk to the employers and determine what are the current and projected job openings. And then we take a look at those titles and the competencies and the requirements that are part of that are associated with that occupational title. And we'll take a look at this in just a moment. We have some tools that are available to help you with taking the employer's occupational title and putting it with the SOC codes and so forth. So we'll take a look at that in just a few moments. And then we want to use the ATIM tools to show the need. So we enter the information into the job forecast tools. We can enter in, with the existing requirements that are there, add additional ones. And then we also put in the job openings within the ATIM tools. And that information is used to not only populate the dashboard, but also to provide information to the region on, not only to the customers to provide an awareness of, what does it really mean to be in manufacturing? What kind of skills do I really need? What are the things that employers are looking for? But it also is a communication tool, for your providers as well, so that they know exactly what the employers need and have identified as competencies or even additional competencies that are above and beyond the core competencies that were identified. So we'll take a look at that as well. And then that information goes into the aligning section. So we want to align the training programs and align the personalized training program plans so that we are meeting our employers' needs. We want to make sure that the information that the employers are saying that, we need these competencies, we need these people for these positions. This is what we're telling you that we have we're forecasting these job openings to be. These are the job and placement opportunities that we will have available, so it can be part of the personalized training and employment plan. And so then the next step is to just confirm that we're fulfilling that need. So we want to go ahead and get the employer's feedback on are we meeting their needs with the individuals that are coming out of the training program, and do we need to take another look at what are there some additional competencies, are there some different changes that we need to make, are there new positions that are out there that need to be identified. So we use that information, and we, again, go through our loop of, proving that we need the need, showing those needs within the tools, making an awareness, communicating them, aligning them, and then fulfilling our employer's needs. Okay, so this is, I'm going to kind of walk through this, the steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I had those identified on the last slide. So the first one, we talked about determine and the current and projected job openings. I'm going to be creating a worksheet to help you with collecting all of these fields so that you can just easily, if you don't have it right there in front of you on your phone or your tablet, when you're with the employer, you can use the paper version as well. We do have, for the step 2 with defining the employer job openings, we do have a tool. We call it the Employer Occupational Title and Competency Crosswalk. It provides areas that format, so you already have the occupational title identified. You can enter the employer's title, and then the related occupations, the stock codes, and then we have a listing of the core competencies. So when you're working with them, you can say, let them know that these are the core competencies that have been identified for this occupational area. Are there any other competencies or requirements that you need for this occupation? And so what that says is that, we have our core set. That's our baseline. That's what everybody's going to have. That's our core. But what will be nice is over time, when we take a look at the information that is entered into ATIM, and at the region level and at the state level, people can take a look at these competencies or other requirements that are added into ATIM, and they'll be related with the SOC code. So we can take a look at that and see, is there anything that needs to be added or modified? It's a way of all this information, all this work that you're doing is collected into the system, and you can easily, you'll be able to pull that information out and look at it. Okay, so first of all, we had our step 1, determine the projected openings. We need to define it because we need to collect that information for whenever we are entering our hiring forecast. Okay, so whenever this is just a wireframe. Basically, you'll go into your ATIM tools, like you're used to going into your ATIM tools anyway. You'll have an area for your jobs, and you can enter the hiring forecast. You'll be able to see your existing forecast, or you can add a new forecast or opening. We'll have a range. There'll be your 2 date ranges that'll be available, and then you can either add a new employer, or you can start typing and find an existing employer that is already entered into the system. This example is for a sample that we already have an employer that's in the system, and so we just started typing, and it pops up, and then you can see the information that's already been added, so you can click on one of the links to edit it, or you can add a new opening. Whenever you add a new opening, you'll select your date ranges. I'm sorry, that's part of your date ranges, your employer, your openings, we just covered that. And then you'll take a look at the details. So you will identify the occupational area, and then when you identify your occupational area, there's already SOC codes that are associated with that. That's the crosswalk. That's already been done. So you'll select the SOC code for that occupation, and then you can enter the employer's custom job title if it's different. Then you can enter in the number of job openings. You can enter in salary information, description, and then, as I mentioned before, there will be that list of core competencies, and those will not change. But if you did identify additional competencies or requirements that were identified by your target employer for your area, then you can add those. And so that'll be set up kind of like an item bank. So whenever you enter it in, then you'll be able to see what you have previously entered in and select from that list as well. Okay. Whenever you add an employer, you might have you can have an employer, and your employer that you enter may be your existing work site, or they may have multiple work sites. So you can enter your employer information, and then you can add contacts. So if you had an existing employer and you needed to edit the information, and you see that, Judy Judson's on here and Bob Smith, but we need to add one more person, you can click add contact, and you'll be able to include that contact information. And this is important because as part of the evaluation, a survey will be sent out. So we want to make sure that we collect their contact information because they will be part of the evaluation process. Okay. As I started to mention before, this example is an example where the employer is not the work site. So I need to add work sites for that employer. And so I just click Add Work Site and fill out the information. And again, for that work site, I can add specific contacts for that work site as well. Okay. Now what I had shown you is just a wireframe for the hiring forecast, but the job openings area is pretty much going to be the same or very similar. The main difference between the hiring forecast and the job opening area is that with the job openings, you will need to identify who gets to see those job openings. So is it going to be available for all of the ATIM participants in your region, or are you only going to make that job opening available to selected ATIM participants? So that's an option that you'll have. And then that information will be visible through their personalized training and employment plan. So with all that information that we've provided, that you've provided, whenever you enter in your job forecast and job openings, we'll provide a way for you to communicate, or your employer to communicate what they need. So it'll be visible to the customer as well as to all of the ATIM team members. And that information will be used, the ATIM team will be using that information as when putting together the personalized training and employment plan for your customers. Okay. And these are just some of the steps for the personalized training and employment plan. And then as we come full circle with our steps, so we're back up to number 6. We're now into the fulfilling our need for an employer. We want to take a look at the information that we've already included. So we want to take a look at the original information that we put into our system, into the ATIM system. We want to take a look and see, has anything changed? We want to use the the employer feedback, so we know if we need to make any updates or modifications to the additional competencies that were included originally. We need to take a look at the occupations that are out there, and compare them with the SOC codes, and then take a look to see, are there any other new occupations that have come up since the last time. Whenever you were meeting with your employers, maybe there's some new occupational titles that they have that can be aligned to those SOC codes as well. And we want to take a look at those reports and use our dashboard to make sure that we are fulfilling the employer's needs as far as making sure that they have a projected job openings, and are we able to put those people that are part of the ATIM program and place them into those openings. Okay. And are there any questions before we go on to next steps? Okay. For the next steps, just take a look, and if you might have already taken a look at them, but we do have the competency guide that's out there, and then the employer occupational title competency worksheet, Crosswalk. Start working with your employers, and if your employers don't already have, the employers, when I say this, with the employers that are going to be part of your ATIM team, that'll be part of the process for putting together the personalized training and employment plan. They will need to have access to the ATIM tools. So in order to give them access to the ATIM tools, they need to have an Illinois WorkNet business account. So if they could go ahead and set up their account, you can go ahead and send that information to info@Illinois WorkNet, and please identify, let us know that they are an employer and what region they need to have access to, and then we can provide them with access to the ATIM tools and get them set up with the right access levels. And then, keep an eye out for whenever we're in the process of putting together the job forecasting and opening tools, but you did see, a preview of what it's going to look like, as well as the different areas and information that you'll need to collect in order to, complete the job forecasting sections. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So far, no questions.
No. Just a reminder for everybody, on next Wednesday, Chelsea just put the webinar registration up. We do have a session scheduled at 2 p.m. next Wednesday with Michael Sloan to talk about some ideas for accelerating the training process. So please make sure that you register for that. Well, good job, Natasha. If nobody else has any questions about setting up the employers or needs Natasha to go over anything else, we can open up the poll questions from earlier if you didn't have a chance to take a look at those. Okay, just checking. Is it sunny where you are? If so, raise your hand with the little man at the top of the screen. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that y'all were hearing this because we don't have any questions coming up, and we just wanted to make sure that y'all were hearing us. So,
and we will have, and as I mentioned before, I will be putting together another sheet. It'll be available on the ATIM tools, so that's just an easy data collection sheet if you don't happen to have your tablet there with you, so you can enter it directly into ATIM tools. And then we'll send out information and instructions, and then we'll have more technical assistance webinars as well. So if you have any questions.
all right. Well, thank you, Natasha, and thank you, Chelsea and Lacey and Jean, for all of your help on all of these webinars. And we appreciate everybody's time this afternoon. So we have recorded this. We will put it in the ATIM guide under the recordings that we keep for all of these processes.